got breaking news from the NFL. The Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice will serve a 6-game suspension to start the season under the league's player conduct policy. That's the latest from our insider, Jonathan Jones. Rice pleaded guilty to a pair of felony charges over the summer, stemming from a high-speed crash in Dallas last year. Our lead NFL insider, Jonathan Jones, joining us now here on HQ. JJ, how did we get here? 6 games for Rashee Rice now to start the season.
Yeah, we had reported last month that this was going to fall somewhere between 5 and 7 games, and so ultimately it lands at 6 for Rashee Rice. This was ultimately sort of a settlement between Rashee Rice, his representation, the NFL Players Association, that of course represents Rashee Rice or any player when the personal conduct policy is involved. There was a sort of league minimum of 6 games for a suspension as relates to basically what we saw with Rashee Rice, the crash. Of course, the league, ever since the days of Ray Rice, have sort of not wanted to hand down punishment until the legal system has run its course. And so last month, he of course, pleads guilty to those 2 felonies. And so at that point, that is when it sort of triggered that the NFL could usher in a suspension for Rashee Rice. So we saw the schedule there. He will miss the first 6 games. He will then be eligible to return back to practice with the Kansas City Chiefs ahead of their Week 7 contest.
You know, JJ, you mentioned the schedule here. Within that first 6 weeks, they have the Eagles, the Ravens, the Lions, sort of wrapping up that 6-game slate. So as you look at this from the Chiefs' perspective here, how much does that impact their game plan, and who are maybe some names that we can expect to step up through those first 6?
Well, the Chiefs obviously have been anticipating that they would be without Rashee Rice for the start of the season. Ever since he pled guilty to those felonies, it has been known within the Chiefs organization that he would be suspended for the start of the season. So they have not been under any sort of idea that he would be available to them in Week 1 and for the first couple of weeks of the season. Now they have some finality to it. They know that he's not there for the first 6 games. So you look at who else can step up. Of course, they have Xavier Worthy. They kept a number of wide receivers on their initial 53-man roster. They have a Tyquan Thornton there, Juju Smith-Schuster, Hollywood Brown. And then, of course, they're hoping that they get the best season yet from Travis Kelce and what very well may be his last season in the NFL. I think we covered why that is pretty well yesterday. The Kansas City Chiefs, of course, you mentioned a difficult schedule. That's what happens when you have results like that right there, when you continue to win your division, and there's a formula for the schedule, of course, but anytime that you are first in your division, you usually have a tough slate ahead. When you're in the AFC, a very top-heavy conference, it's going to be difficult. So no surprise they have a tough road in the first 6 weeks of the season. They kind of have a tough road throughout 17 games, but they have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and that makes things a lot easier for them.